I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my creative healing course is filled with hours of exclusive content. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
Today we're going to be talking about 6 ways to cope with an avoidant. So maybe you're in a situation where you were dating an avoidant or are trying to repair things with an ex who's avoidant, and it could be a real struggle. Obviously, once you come to our channel, you can see hundreds of videos explaining how mental health and attachment are correlated with breakups.
Yes.
And so we've spent years trying to put this stuff together and always looking for new stuff to share with you and to put it together within ourselves.
For ourselves,
yeah.
Right.
And so Margaret's got a good article today that's going to be talking about this.
And this is an article called Understanding the Avoidant Personality, 6 Ways to Cope, written by someone named Tamara Hill, who has numerous degrees after her name and is a nationally certified mental health counselor. And it shows up on the Psych Central websites. There are various websites that collect mental health material, which I haunt to find new stuff. Okay. So she lists 6 ways to try and deal with an avoidant partner. And the difficult part of being with an avoidant partner is you constantly, or at least periodically, feel like they don't care about you. And it makes you feel lonely and empty and crummy.
And to be fair, a lot of the times it's because of their behavior.
Yes.
You're not just feeling it for no reason.
No, it's from their behavior. I'll see you on Friday, well, maybe Tuesday would be better.
Yeah, and then you're disappointed.
Yeah, then you're disappointed.
That's a big one.
Yes. And people somehow assume that if people can't respond, if the avoidant can't respond, that it must be your fault and that they don't want to and there's something wrong with you. So it's multi-layered. Okay. Don't try to force them to do what they really can't do. Okay? And the most frequent thing I hear is, I really care about my boyfriend, but he won't talk about his feelings. And not only that, he gets really mad when I ask him if he has any. Okay? And you certainly hear it from women too, but even more commonly from men, which I think has to do with how we're socialized. If you consider the symptoms, you will see that an avoidant personality struggles with many emotional and perceptual challenges. By perceptual challenges, we mean they may walk up to a group of people at the water cooler and immediately assume that they're being stared at or judged, when nobody's doing that at all.
Interesting.
All right? They just know it somehow. And make relationships with others very difficult. To make matters worse, some individuals also struggle with depression or anxiety or anger management, which are called co-occurring disorders. Some individuals are held captive by their symptoms and struggle to be what others need them to be, which is very common for the avoidant to say to their partner, I don't know what you want from me. I can't have long emotional conversations. I can't talk about emotions at all. I don't know what I can do for you. All right?
Okay.
And sometimes they think their partner's being needy by asking them to. So don't force them to try to talk about feelings or do things that they're not capable of doing.
I would say do it a little bit at a time.
Do it a very little bit at a time. You have to be very, very slow-moving in dealing with avoidant folks.
The anxious people want to be like,
ah! Do it now, yeah.
But you can't.
No, you can't. No. And anxious people, by definition, want to just jump in there. Just give you a couple of quick examples of that. I need you to talk to me about your feelings. Well, I don't know. I don't have any words for feelings, I don't know how to do it, and every time this comes up, you get mad at me. So let's talk about feelings, and let's go to the family reunion. I know your family won't like me. They'll already think I'm a bum and that I don't have a good enough job, and whatever I wear, they won't like it. Okay? And it looks to you like they're just kind of being oppositional or not caring about what you want to do. And it's rare that they're able to tell you that they feel scared and like they will not be accepted. All right. Number 2, you may have to give them an ultimatum, but be sure you do it at the right time. Okay?
I got to hear what they say about this one.
All right.
I'm not so sure about this one.
All right. Some people need to understand how their behavior and emotional needs are affecting you. Okay?
Okay.
And unfortunately, oftentimes with an avoidant, they're so busy struggling with their own feelings, they don't think about yours.
That's true.
Okay? So one of the biggest problems individuals face when trying to cope with someone's personality disorder is feeling unloved. Okay? So when you can't respond to go to the picnic or do all the other things your partner wants, the partner is going to get annoyed and not understand why you're doing all that. And they're going to feel unloved. And I always hear, doesn't he know how it hurts me when, he stays out of the house all day to work on his hobby? Or doesn't he know how it feels for me when he goes out twice a week with his buddies, but not at all with me? He may or may not understand. And it makes people feel unloved, ignored, and sometimes just empty. Okay? You must not forget that personality disorders include inborn, pervasive, and chronic behavioral patterns that are not likely to be changed in any hurry. Sometimes talking therapy and some kinds of medication will help, but don't ever think that you can snap somebody out of it. And that's the word that lots of people say. Just snap out of it, right? If you're depressed, just snap out of it.
Yeah.
If you're avoidant, just snap out of it and show up for your partner. Snap out of it is not a good idea. So if you do want to stay with that person and you want to work with them, just remember that it's not going to happen quickly. Okay? And people can get very excited and think the person's going to change and then they'll have an equal relationship. It may happen, but it's not going to happen quickly. All right? It's okay to tell the person that if they do not open their heart and mind to understanding, in other words, letting you understand them, or to treatment, if they're not ready to open up about how, and let you tell them about how their behaviors affect others, you may eventually have to leave the relationship.
Yeah, but that's, I think, different than an ultimatum.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Because if you're saying, that you can't do it anymore because you're so exhausted or you're frustrated or you're constantly feeling like you're not cared about, that's different than giving the ultimatum.
The ultimatum is if you don't go to therapy tomorrow and open up and talk to the therapist, I'm leaving you. An ultimatum is never a good idea.
Yeah.
It backs people up against the wall.
And
But sometimes people who should leave someone because it's being detrimental to them can't do it or are unwilling to do it.
yeah.
Okay? And so sometimes you have to encourage people and say, this person doesn't show any interest in changing. And, this is now doing damage to you.
Yes, absolutely. And you have to think about what works for you or doesn't.
Yep.
When I heard ultimatum, I was like, ooh, uh-oh.
I don't like it either.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do have to say to somebody to get them, because they'll ignore you, or they'll listen to you and then go right on playing their video game or doing whatever. Sometimes you have to make some noise to get their attention.
Yeah, it's just
I don't like ultimatums.
You're on a slippery slope if you're giving an avoidant an ultimatum.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's going to make them feel more shamed and rejected. Okay? But sometimes you do have to tell them, I can't do this anymore. All right. If you feel trapped, get out. The individual suffering from symptoms of avoidance that hold them captive certainly needs you to understand them, but they also cannot help themselves or you. This makes getting out very difficult because you want to help that person, even when you feel like you're dying in the relationship. Okay? So it's not easy to leave. And I hear cases sometimes where people have been together for years, and it worked for the avoidant person, but the other person is just a disaster by now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's so true.
And feeling unlovable. And I don't think avoidants ever mean to be abusive, but they can end up being emotionally abusive because they will be close for periods of time and you get all excited that they're coming around, and then they'll just disappear again. So, but it can be done if you have enough patience. All right?
And emotional self-control.
That's exactly right. The next item here is approaching things with grace and tact.
Okay.
All right? Sometimes it is necessary to have a very frank conversation with the avoidant. But conversations should always consider everyone's feelings, challenges, and needs. You want to attempt to walk away from that conversation with a feeling that something has been accomplished. If everyone walks away more angry, more offended, more defensive, something is wrong. You want to express your concerns, your observations, and your worry in a tactful manner. Okay? If you can find some objective pieces of information to bring into things, you should do that as well. All right, Craig, I have an example here about why you behave the way you do. Would that be helpful?
Maybe.
Yeah. But sometimes providing people with information is very helpful. Okay? And it doesn't make somebody defensive sometimes. It makes them interested. Somebody wrote about this? What? Also, when you need to have a conversation like this, you have to remember that you are not the problem, but that the person is defensive because of their symptoms and probably what happened to them as children. Okay? Because avoidant partners sometimes get really depressed and think there's something wrong with them. How come I can't get to this person?
Yeah.
And sometimes the avoidant, having no idea what's going wrong here, blames them and says, if you didn't push me so hard, I wouldn't be so avoidant. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to be careful to kind of approach them in a way that they can hear.
Not easy.
No, it's not
It takes a lot of emotional self-control.
Yes, it does.
And you have to work through a lot of your issues
Of your own
before you
stuff.
have that
Yep.
emotional self-control.
Yep. Well, to anticipate what you're saying, if you keep this in mind, you can at least attempt to control your own emotions in response to their defensiveness. You don't want to lose perspective and add fuel to the fire of their feeling like they're unlovable.
Okay.
It helps if you're a saint. Yeah. Understand that some relationships can't and shouldn't be saved. I mean, there are some people who have no wish to come around or to change their behavior or to take another look at your needs. Okay? So there are some relationships that really have to end. But they don't all have to end. One of the things that I read the other day that I thought was just a delightful thing to reread was Dr. John Gottman. We've talked about him before. He's the famous psychologist who works with couples. And he was talking about expecting or hoping that your partner will change. And he was saying that you have the best shot at helping your partner to change if you first accept them exactly as they are. Okay? So if you want to say, I love you, even though you're avoidant and sometimes you seem to ignore my needs, I really can accept you the way you are and love you the way you are. Then you've got somebody who might feel secure enough to try some new things. Okay? But it's not easy to be with an avoidant. And oftentimes it's very hard to walk away from them because you wonder what will happen. But all of the rules of no contact also work here. Sometimes if you have to do the painful thing and walk away, you will hear from them again.
Yep. But you also have to think about your own needs.
Absolutely.
And what's going to make you happy ultimately.
Yep. Ultimately.
And, sometimes it's just not that person. And we have a lot of success stories with people that couldn't do a relationship anymore and they had to move on for whatever reason. And they found happiness. And they found somebody that was an even better partner for them.
Yep.
So don't despair and think that it's only going to be your ex.
No.
No.
You need somebody who can love you back.
Yeah.
Or someone who's at least willing to work at learning how to love you back. But I love what John Gottman said. Try acceptance before you insist on change.
All right.
Okay?
Good stuff.
All right.
Make sure you put a thumbs up on the video for Margaret to like it for her research. Of course, you can get our help personally on my website, askcraig.net. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Margaret is available for Skype coaching.
If you feel that I can be helpful to you, please sign up.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon. To get my help personally, go to askcraig.net and click on Schedule Coaching and choose the option that works best for you. I do email coaching or Skype. To schedule a coaching with Margaret, click on Margaret on the top of the page and order a Skype with her. For the Knowledge Creative Healing course, click on the link at the top of the page and click Get Started Now.